Psst. Hey, I have 5 questions. No thinking. Just pick. Would you rather? That was pretty easy, fast, painless. Now here's the one that isn't. The one that's honestly a difficult decision now as it was when it was first asked. Would you rather be born blind and never see a single thing in your entire life, or get 25 years, faces, color, every sunset you'll ever be given, and then, all of a sudden, boom, the lights go out for good? Don't overthink it. Pick your side, A or B, and hold on to it tightly, because I'm going to spend the next 8 minutes trying to take it from you, make you conflicted about your choice. On paper, it isn't close. 25 years of seeing your loved ones beats a lifetime of darkness any day, obviously. And that right there is the trap. Someone who has never seen the world doesn't mourn what they never had. But someone who saw it for 25 years and then lost it, they remember everything, every face, every color, every detail, and every day, they're reminded of what's gone. So now, let's put your answer to the test and find out whether it survives contact with the truth. Start with the brain. People born blind often adapt better than people who lose their sight later in life. And the reason is stranger than you might think. When the eyes never deliver visual information, the brain doesn't leave that territory unused. Instead, it rewires itself. Areas originally meant for sight get reassigned to hearing, touch, and even language. Some people born blind can use echoes to understand the spaces around them, building mental maps from sound alone. Their brains never had to process the loss of vision because there was never anything to lose. No before, no after. Just a different way of experiencing the world from the very beginning. Now consider the other life. You lose your sight at 25, and unlike someone born blind, you don't lose the memories. You remember your mother's face, the color of the ocean, the exact shade of a summer sky just before sunset. For years, you may still dream in images. At first, that sounds like a gift, but that's where our instincts can be misleading, because every memory becomes a reminder. Every image becomes proof of something that's no longer there. For many people who lose their sight, the hardest part isn't the darkness itself. It's the comparison, the constant awareness of what life used to look like, the burden of remembering. Because losing something can hurt far more than never having it at all. So, anyone switching yet? If your pick just moved, you already know what to do in the comments. If it held, good. Keep holding. We're not done. But here's the part almost nobody sees coming. Humans have a strange flaw when it comes to imagining suffering. Ask someone how they'd feel if they lost their sight, lost the use of their legs, or experienced some other life-changing loss. And most people predict the same thing. They'd be devastated forever. But when researchers study people who actually lived through those experiences, they find something surprising. Most adapt, not instantly, not without pain, but far more than they ever imagined possible. Because humans are remarkably bad at predicting their own resilience. We picture catastrophe as the end of the story. What we miss is everything that comes after. The adjustment, the rebuilding, the quiet ways people learn to carry what once seemed impossible to bear. Which means the version of blind at 25 you're imagining right now, the hopeless one, is probably not reality. It's a trick of the mind. When we imagine loss, we imagine the moment it happens. The shock, the grief, the fear. What we don't imagine is adaptation, the months after, the years after, the life that slowly rebuilds itself around a new reality. The grief would be real, but so would your ability to carry it. And that changes the equation, because suddenly, option B looks a lot stronger than it did 60 seconds ago. So let's be fair to both. Those 25 years aren't only memories that become wounds, they're a foundation. You learn to read. You learned what a face means, what distance is, how light falls across a room, and your brain keeps that scaffolding even after the lights go out. The one born blind built a brilliant world without it. The one blind at 25 gets to keep the blueprints. There's an old line, better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. This is that question. with the stakes turned all the way up. This is your last clean look before I tell you what this is actually about. Lock it in one more time, A or B. Because this was never really about blindness. Over 300 years ago, a philosopher posed a puzzle. Take a man born blind who has learned to tell a cube from a sphere by touch alone. Now suddenly give him sight. Could he tell them apart just by looking, without touching first? For centuries, the answer was a confident no. And when doctors finally restored sight to people blind from birth, they found it was true. At first, the newly sighted couldn't make sense of what they saw at all. They had to learn to see from nothing, like a newborn. And that tells you something deeply uncomfortable. Sight is not a gift you're handed and simply keep. It's something you build, and anything you build can be taken back. The person born blind never carried that risk, not for one day. The rest of us carry it every waking second, and we've just agreed to call it normal. There's one more layer. The person born blind didn't lose a self, they became one. But the person blind at 25 had a self built around seeing, and then had to become someone new, in the dark, while grieving the old one. So the real question is, would you rather be one whole person or two? The one who saw, and the one who has to live without them? So here's the part you don't want to hear. You were never actually afraid of blindness. You were afraid of loss. The person born blind was spared the single cruelest clause in the entire human contract. The one where everything you love can be torn away while you are forced to watch. You looked at that life, the one with no sunsets, and called it the unlucky one. It might be the only one of the two without the wound. And a lot of you almost chose the wound, on purpose, because at least it came with the sunsets. Sit with that. What you were really willing to pay for in this whole question was not sight, it was the having. Even knowing it ends in loss. That's not a fact about blindness. That's a fact about you, so this is it. After everything, the brain, the grief, the resilience you didn't know you had, the self you'd have to rebuild. Does your answer still stand? Comment your choice or letter and tell me why. The why is everything, and the best ones open the next episode. If this one got under your skin, good. Subscribe, and I'll find the next question you can't answer. There's no right answer. There never was. You just learned something about yourself you can't unlearn. This is the human dilemma.